Hi Interior, my name is Danielle Moylan. This is my home here in beautiful Peckham, South London. I'm the owner of Lala Books. Let's come and look at my house. We've been here for about 3 years. It's a beautiful old Georgian terrace house. It's a little rundown like a lot of these places are, but we really love it. We have a gorgeous outdoor garden. We came here from Hackney after I found my business in Camberwell. I just think South London's a vibe. It's got a real sense of community. There's so many things to do. There's beautiful parks nearby. We have a dog, so that's really important. It's a real diverse community as well, and everybody looks out for each other. Places you can go out, lots of great restaurants, nice shops as well, nice bookshops. My husband and I, we lived in the Middle East for 10 years for work. We actually met in Iran. My husband is Danish, but we both happened to live in Iran at that time. And one of the things that really mean a lot to us in the kitchen is this piece of artwork. It's just something we actually bought. I think we bought on our second to last day of living in Iran. It's a picture of Gurgush, who is really one of the most famous singers ever to come from Iran. She can still fill stadiums like in Los Angeles, London, New York. It's just a picture of her from when she was at the height of her fame. Also, there's just a couple of other things that just mean a lot to us. One of our closest friends bought us this quite ridiculous egg hen basket. And I think it just really, it really says a lot about her. And I think it's just the perfect present in that I think any great present is one that you would never buy for yourself. We keep our eggs in it. And then the other thing that I really, really love, besides these beautiful flowers that were just gifted to us by friends that came over for dinner, is this vase, which was made by one of my husband's really close friends in Denmark. It's a wedding present to us, actually. Another thing that I really love is this egg cup by the South London artist, Frank Le Bon. This is him. When I closed down my previous business, which was a coffee shop, to morph it into the bookshop that it came today, he came and gifted me this on my final day. I don't think that there's many of these in circulation, and I just think it's absolutely perfect that anytime that I have some eggs in the morning, I can look at my friend's face. My husband is an excellent cook, far better than what I am. I do more of the baking side of things, so we do have quite a very well used collection of cookbooks. This is primarily my husband's study, and also very importantly where our dog sleeps at night. I found this really amazing ladder axe piece on Vinteria, and it works so perfectly, and there's an incredible amount of storage in here. I think it was some of the pieces are originally intended to be a drinks cabinet. It sort of holds a lot of different things, including, I've just found out, extra records for my husband, which I didn't know were there. I've found recently a bunch of photos just stored in boxes and just wanted to put them sort of out on display. One of the really special things on here is a card. Before I ran Lala Books, I ran Grove Lane Deli, which was a small coffee shop, bakery in the same location. And when we closed down, on the last day, it was really amazing. A lot of the regulars came to give like cards and sort of, I guess, say like a temporary goodbye, because everybody knew I was going to be reopening it as something else. And one of the really sweet things that somebody did as a local, she's really talented graphic designer, she just drew a picture out the front of Grove Lane Deli as the card to say thank you and a temporary goodbye. It's really sweet. So this is our bedroom. One of the things that I really love is these really beautiful 1950s side lamps that we've used for either side of the bed. They're so easy. I did actually buy them from Vinteria, and they just like provide the perfect amount of light, and they just were such a great find. We've moved around so much over the years, and when you move from country to country, obviously you sort of shed a lot of possessions with you, but one of the things that I've really held on to is this piece by Robert Dickerson, which I bought originally in Australia, really when I was quite young. I'm not sure if I would have bought it today, even though he remains one of my favorite artists. I just think that it just is one of the few things that really reminds me of home. And when I look at it, I just really do think it just feels so Australian to me. And it is so nice to have that one piece, I think, that connects you back to home wherever you are. You know, when we bought the house, it was actually it was clear the people before us had like a different sort of taste to us, and everything was quite dark, heavy, and from when we first came to store it, there was a lot of sort of like large, heavy pieces of furniture. So I think that we just wanted to try and create as much light as possible, open up the space as much as possible as well, even if that means, you know, it being a bit messy sometimes. I'd rather have like, you know, racks with open clothes rather than sort of like a big heavy piece of furniture. That's just personally our style. We painted it in quite light neutral colors. Just the way the house is facing, it can be quite dark in here sometimes. So we just try and open it up and make it as light as possible. One thing that I really do want to do at some point is change the mantelpiece, because it's obviously like quite an old, cheaper sort of pine mantelpiece. We have 3 fireplaces, you know, in this really quite small flat, and it's such an amazing thing to have, and especially, I think, coming from Australia, where the country is so young, and so almost all houses are fairly new builds or built in the 1960s, 1970s, and it just amazes me in London that you still get so many houses with, you know, these beautiful character that have remained with the houses for years and years. There are so many things in this room that I love. One of my favorite pieces in here is something that I actually bought in Beirut when we first moved there, and I was looking around vintage shops. I found actually a pair of these really quite like amazing 1970s, I guess, sort of, but still like a bit of Art Deco style cupboard. The most useless cupboard in the world because there's no shelves inside, but it just looks so cool, I think, with like the silver and gold. We had to get rid of the second cupboard because we just didn't have the space when we moved in. I insisted that we keep at least one because I just really love it. We obviously have quite a lot of records. It's now gotten to the point where it's a bit of a one record in, one record out situation because we don't have much storage space beyond here. We got this amazing sort of custom cabinet. Again, I think a couple that were moving house and needed to find another home for it. And so we found it just worked perfectly for us. And then we also just like, I think it's just nice that we have a few of them on display as well, because, you know, records are beautiful things, and a lot of time and effort goes into record sleeves, so it's nice to have them on display. We have obviously a really narrow house, and there's not enough space for a full dining table. So when we were looking about how we could make that work in this room, we found this amazing vintage Urkel dining table with the sort of fold-out leaves either side, so we can shove up to around 8 people if necessary. It came in really quite great condition, but since then we've of course got water glass stains and wax stains and so forth. But yeah, it was a perfect vintage find. Yeah, we have a lot of beautiful rugs. We've been really lucky to, you know, buy them directly from the places where they're made. This is a beautiful hand-knotted rug from Iran. I have several throughout the house that we've been so lucky to collect over the years. Again, that's one of the few things that we've really like taken the time to roll up, shove in bags, bring with us to the next location. It brings such a vibrancy to the place. Been so lucky to go to the places where they're made and to see the process of hand-dyed wool and meet primarily the women that hand knot them. One of the things that made me really want to buy the house was obviously this amazing fireplace. I have a friend who works in conservation, and he told me that is almost certainly original to the house, potentially a different mantelpiece, but he said that he probably thought it was Georgian with an Edwardian mantelpiece. It's such a luxury to have a working fireplace with, you know, such beautiful tiles that has been with this house the entire time. I love even the cracks in the tiles because you don't know how they got there. It just tells such a story about this house that we have. People have lived here for over 100 years, and I really love to think about who those people were. We also have such beautiful cornicing on the ceiling as well. Again, I believe is original. And for me, all the places where I've lived, I've never had the opportunity to live in essentially an old house with such character to it. I just find it a really remarkable part of London that so many people get the opportunity to live in houses like this. This is a print from somebody we got to know, an artist in Beirut in Lebanon. It was during the Thawra, the revolution. She drew a number of just pieces that were based on scenes of people throughout the revolution, were there during the protests, and it was just a time where so many parts of Lebanese civil society came together. This was drawn from a very famous photograph of a religious leader who was moved to tears by, I think, the power of people protesting. This is our book collection before I even had a bookshop. You can see there's no more room for any books, and I actually don't tend to bring books home with me. Part of my job is to read for a living, so it would be out of control if I brought more and more books home. We also have a lot of photo books by friends. As my husband and I worked as journalists, my husband still is a journalist. We have gotten to know a lot of photojournalists over the years, some of whom that have brought out amazing photo books. This one is by Andrew Quilty, who is an amazing photographer that we got to know in Afghanistan.